Have you ever deleted a file and then had that little thought in the back of your mind, like, is it really gone? You know, in our digital world, hitting delete is often just the beginning of the story. So let's get into it, because making sure our data actually disappears for good is one of the biggest and honestly most overlooked challenges in security today.
Believe it or not, this whole conversation starts with a surprisingly low-tech idea: dumpster diving. Yeah, I know, it sounds pretty gross, but it's a classic for a reason. It's literally someone rummaging through your physical trash, looking for discarded treasures, passwords you jotted down, old account numbers, confidential memos. It's basically the original data breach.
But of course, today, the most valuable trash isn't in a bin behind the office. Nope, it's sitting right here in the recycle bins and temporary files on our computers and our phones. The method has changed, for sure, but the threat, it is exactly the same. What we throw away can absolutely be used against us.
And the stakes here are just incredibly high. Get this, over 9 million Americans have their identities stolen every single year. And a huge number of those cases, they start with something as simple as a bank statement or one of those pre-approved credit offers just getting tossed in the bin without a second thought.
So, what do we do? How do we fight back? Well, it all starts with understanding the basics, right? Let's talk about physical document security in our everyday lives. We're going to build a simple framework for what to get rid of and what you need to keep.
Now, the thing that's so striking here is how much of this is just daily life stuff. We all get these things: old bank statements, medical records, those really tempting credit card offers in the mail. These should never just be thrown away. And it goes beyond paper too. Old hard drives, CDs, old phones, they need to be destroyed. They're basically just treasure chests of data for any determined thief.
But you don't have to shred everything the second you get it. There's a timeline. For about a year, you'll want to hang on to things like pay stubs and monthly bank statements. For a good 7 years, keep anything tax-related. But some things, yeah, those are keepers for life. Your birth certificate, passport, social security card, think of these as your foundational identity documents. You lock those up.
Okay, so that's the physical world. Now let's jump over to the digital side and see how the pros handle it. When professionals need to get rid of data, they don't just drag a file to the trash. Oh no, they have a playbook with 3 very specific, very important options.
And this isn't just some random playbook. It comes from a serious authority, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST for short. They've basically created the gold standard for what's called media sanitization. This isn't just about deleting, it's about making data truly 100% unrecoverable.
So level 1 is called clear. This is kind of like your typical reset to factory settings on a phone or a computer. It overwrites the data, which makes it pretty hard to get back with simple off-the-shelf tools. Think of it like tidying up a room and putting everything away. To a casual observer, it looks empty, but a really determined person could probably still find things if they looked hard enough.
The next level up is purge, and this is much more serious. This makes data recovery impossible, even with the kind of advanced forensic equipment you'd find in a lab. The key point here is that we've gone way past just tidying the room. This is like hiring a professional deep cleaning crew that forensically removes every single trace that anyone was ever there. And finally, we have the ultimate level, destroy. This is exactly what it sounds like. We're talking shredding, disintegrating, even incinerating. There is no coming back from this. This isn't just cleaning the room, it is demolishing the entire building. The hard drive, the CD, whatever it is, it can never be used again, and the data is gone forever. Period.
Now, you might be wondering, where does all this data disposal stuff fit into the bigger picture of security? Well, it's a huge part of what we can think of as a layered defense, or a two-lock system for protecting information.
See, on one side you have physical security. That's your locks, security guards, key cards, all the things that stop someone from physically walking out the door with a server. On the other side, you've got logical security. That's your passwords, firewalls, encryption, the code that protects the data itself. And proper data destruction, that's where these two worlds collide. A locked server room is totally useless if an old server is just tossed out back with all its data intact. And the best firewall in the world means nothing if that same hard drive isn't properly wiped before it gets sold online. It's the final, crucial step.
But this brings up a really important question. How do we decide whether to clear, purge, or destroy? To answer that, we have to get our heads around a simple fact. Not all data is created equal. The kind of information you're trying to protect, well, that's everything.
The data we're usually most concerned with is called Personally Identifiable Information, or PII. This is pretty much anything that can be used to identify you specifically.
your name, your social security number, your fingerprint. It's the crown jewels of your personal data.
But here's the key insight, the thing that most people miss. The risk isn't just about the data fields themselves. It's about something a little more nuanced.
NIST tells us to look at a few different factors. How identifiable is it? How much data is there? How sensitive are the fields? But the most important one, the factor that changes everything, is the context of use. In other words, what is the data actually for?
Let me give you a quick example to show you why context is king. Okay, so imagine a simple list of names and email addresses for a company's public newsletter.
Right. Now, that exact same list with the exact same data fields is not the same thing at all as
a list of undercover agents. The data, name, email, is identical, but the context makes that second list infinitely more sensitive. The potential harm from a breach goes from maybe some spam email to catastrophic. And that, right there, shows you why context matters more than anything else.
Okay, so let's bring this all home. Let's put it together into a simple playbook. How do you actually decide which of those three methods, clear, purge, or destroy, is the right one for your data?
Well, NIST actually provides a handy decision-making flowchart, and it works like this. First, you figure out your data's security level. Is it low, moderate, or high risk? And you use those context factors we just talked about. Then, you just ask two simple questions. 1, are you going to reuse this device? And 2, is the device leaving your control? So, for low security data that's staying in-house, a clear is probably fine. But for high security data that's leaving your office for good, you have to purge or destroy. It's just a logical path to get you to the right level of security every time.
So, at the end of the day, as we manage more and more data, the question becomes less about what we create and way more about what we choose to leave behind. In a world where every deleted file has the potential to become a digital ghost, it's worth asking yourself, what are you leaving behind?